You're sitting in a class filled with people. The teacher keeps boring you, so you pick up your book and begin to read. You know you could get caught and get in trouble, but you really don't care. You're reading a great book and you're really into it. It's worth the risk. This is probably how Erma Louise Bombeck felt throughout school. I think people can relate to how Erma felt about her books and her reading. I know that I can. Erma Bombeck accomplished a lot of pretty incredible things because of her love for reading. Today I'm going to tell you about Erma's early life, how she became one of the greatest writers, her work, and her death. Erma Bombeck was raised in a traditional way. She was born on February 21st, 1927 in Dayton, Iowa. She lived with her parents and her half-sister, Thelma. According to the author, Lynn Hunter Conwell, in the 1992 book, Erma Bombeck, writer and humorist, talked about how Erma lived in a community that was hard-working, lower middle-class families. At age 5, Erma began school. Although most kids weren't allowed to begin school until age 6, her mother convinced the principal that she was ready. Erma was a great student and was very eager to learn. Erma learned a lot about reading, and she loved it. According to Conwell, reading opened up Erma's life and helped her cope with things that made her life very stressful. She looked forward to getting done with school so that she could go home and read. For Christmas, most kids begged for toys, but Erma begged her parents for books. She loved to make up stories and pretend she was acting them out in plays. She also loved to write out all the stories she could think of. By the age of 10, English was the only class she really cared about. Because of her love for reading, it took her many places. Erma worked at the Dayton Journal-Herald while she was in school, and also worked there after she was done graduating from the University of Dayton. According to the official website of Erma Bombeck, after her 3 kids were all in school, she persuaded the editor of a weekly newspaper to let her make a new article. And she began her new column in 1965. According to the 1966 news article in the Chicago Tribune by Bill, she was very gentle and a still depressing person. She ended up writing 3 different columns per week. Her columns were loved by many and eventually ended up in over 900 newspapers. She was also a contributor to a few different magazines, including Good Housekeeping and Red Book. She wrote humor columns about life in the suburbs and got the attention of the Journal-Herald, which she was later hired to. Erma was also a correspondent on Good Morning America that was on ABC for 11 years. Because she moved up so high in the writing world, she had many great accomplishments to show for it. Erma was all over the place with her writing. She wrote books, columns, short stories, and even created a TV series. Some of her books included Forever Erma, When God Created Mothers, Born a Kind, and Eat Less Cottage Cheese and More Ice Cream. She wrote over 4,000 newspaper columns in newspapers such as Daytona Journal-Herald, RK News, and The Owl. Her short stories were written in a university publication called The Exponent, and her TV series was called Maggie. Erma liked to write about suburb home life in her columns. She liked to use humor to relate to her audience and talk about her own life. She brought up things such as getting stuck in elevators, taking the bus to work, and filling in for her boss while he was on vacation. She also liked to talk about raising kids and how to train husbands. Humor columnist Tim Bent described Erma's writing as crisp and funny. He also said that she had a great way of seeing something funny of regular everyday things. Although Erma did a lot of great things in life, great things always come to an end. Erma battled hereditary polycystic kidney disease. It is a disease that is passed down through family. If one parent has it, that child of them has a 50% chance of getting it. The symptoms usually show up when you are middle-aged, and the disease affects about 1 in 1,000 Americans. The disease can cause liver and lung cancer, kidney disease, and can even be fatal for infants and young children. Removing the kidneys or getting a transplant is usually the only way you can fully get rid of it. Erma was on the waiting list for a kidney transplant for years. One kidney had already been removed because it was causing her so much pain, and the other did not function right anymore. On April 3rd, 1996, when Erma was 69 years old, she went to San Francisco to get a kidney transplant. During the procedure, there were complications which caused her death. She was brought back to her hometown of Dayton and buried in her family log. Erma Bombeck once said, it takes a lot of courage to show your dreams to someone else. I think that made her a really courageous person because she shared her dreams with the world. As you can see, Erma accomplished many great things in her life, all because of her love for reading. Today I've told you about Erma's early life, how she got to become one of the greatest American writers, some of her work, and her death. So next time you pull out a book in class, think about the love you have for reading and compare it to the love that Erma had for reading. It could take you many places and you'll never know where you'll end up.